Sir, would you please tell us what you do for a living?
I'm a PhD student at the University of Colorado.
You know the defendant seated here in the striped shirt with the beard and the mustache and the glasses?
I do.
How do you know him?
He was also a student a few years ago at the University of Colorado.
You know his name?
James Holmes.
I want to talk to you about how you came to know the defendant, and then we'll move through the period of time that you spent with him or knew him, okay? Is that all right?
Yep.
All right. First off, are you nervous?
A little bit.
Okay, that's fine. I want to bookend sort of the dates that we're talking about here. First off, when was the earliest time that you think that you had any contact or had the opportunity to observe the defendant while you were at the University of Colorado?
Either end of August or beginning of September.
Of 2011?
Yes.
When would have been the last time that you had the opportunity to observe the defendant?
Probably beginning or middle of May 2012.
All right. I want to take you back to that first part. Now, you said you are still a PhD student at CU Anschutz Center. Is that fair?
That's correct.
Now, are you a neuroscience student?
No.
What are you studying?
Computational biology.
Is computational biology the same PhD program that Miss Datta, who we heard from earlier, is in?
Yes.
Now tell us how you first came to see and meet the defendant.
So we shared a biology class together at the beginning of the year that all the first year students had. And so we initially met in class.
And do you remember how that meeting took place? Who approached whom? Anything like that?
Pretty sure, like our group at the time, which was me, Tim, and Gargi, approached him.
And to be clear for the record, you said Tim. Can you give us that guy's full name?
Timothy Tapscott.
And is Tapscott T-A-P-S-C-O-T-T?
Yes.
And had you guys already sort of formed a group before you met with the defendant?
Yes.
And where did you guys meet?
We also... So I met Tim in class and I met Gargi at our interviews.
Now, since you're not a neurosciences student, how did you come to have a class with the defendant who is?
So all of the first years all had the same biology class.
Was that one of the core classes?
Yes.
Can we get D8, please, ma'am? Now, I have not shown you this before, but there's a bunch of core classes. Do you see that on your screen there that they say core on them?
Yes.
All right. Were you in each of those classes along with Miss Datta, Mr. Tapscott, and the defendant through that period of time?
Yes.
Did you have additional classes in 2012 with the defendant?
Yes.
What were those classes? Do you remember?
It's the biological basis of neurological disease, or something like that.
Did that last all the way through to that last May date that you tried to tell us about?
Yes.
Ma'am, thank you. So what were your first observations of the defendant? How did he seem to you?
Just seemed very quiet.
And how do you remember getting him involved into that small group you've described?
Just by talking to him and interacting with him during class.
And what were your perceptions of him then?
Just that he was quiet, didn't really talk very much.
Was he funny?
In what way?
In the funny way? I don't. Did he have a sense of humor?
So he did have a sense of humor. He liked puns and stuff like that.
Okay. And was that pretty evident early on?
Yes.
In class, you guys would sit near each other?
Yes.
Did you start to do things like study together or do things outside of class together?
So after probably a month or two, we started hanging out outside of class, studying, hiking, and playing board games.
Okay, tell us about the hiking. Where would you go, and would it be with that same group you described?
It would be at the same group. So the one that I remember is Dinosaur Ridge. I'm pretty sure there was a few others, but that's the one that comes to mind.
And when you said you would play board games, what kind of board games are you talking about?
So Dominion was one of them. I don't remember any others.
What's Dominion?
So it's a card game. So you have money that you buy cards with and that you use it to try to get points.
Okay. No hotels or houses or
Nope.
little dogs, nothing like that. Okay. And when you would play those games, And where would you do it at someone's house, at a community center? Where would you do it?
So at someone's house.
Had you been to the defendant's apartment over this period of time?
Yes.
How would you describe it?
Say the parts that I saw were clean, very well upkept.
Was it always like that up until the last time that you had been at the defendant's apartment?
Yes.
Which would have been when? When was the last time you think you were there?
Probably sometime around April.
Of 2012?
Yes.